Yes, you guys, welcome back. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV, and today I'm here to bring you guys another News Daily video. Now, I'm going to focus on 4 stories, and they are going to be on the latest surrounding Tammy and contract talks. I'll be speaking about Willian and why Benrahma is plan B to Willian if Willian does not agree a new contract. I'll be speaking about today's report suggesting that we are currently trying to sign the new Willian Mbappe for Monaco, and to end things, I'll be speaking about the UCL update for our upcoming game against Bayern Munich. So we do have a ton of things to speak about and break down. I hope you guys do enjoy. If you like today's video, smash that like button. I want to get over 2,500 likes for today's video. And of course, before I get into things, you guys, yesterday, the new home kit for next season was officially announced. If you guys want to get it for yourselves, I recommend that you use my affiliate links in my description below. Once you use them, you then get access to my 10% off discount code, which is Nini10. So what are you guys waiting for? I've got you guys covered. I'm hooking you guys up. And without wasting any more time, we start with the first story today, and that's the UCL update against Bayern Munich. Now it seems like our second leg game against Bayern Munich is now going to be played in Bayern Stadium. Now, previous reports did state that UEFA were contemplating the ideas of potentially playing the round of 16 games in Portugal, where they have proposed this mini UCL style tournament to obviously complete the campaign for this season. So we have official confirmation surrounding that, and it seems like Ziyech and Werner won't be participating in this year's UCL. It makes a ton of sense, and UEFA are keeping things very simple. If players weren't registered in time to participate in this year's UCL, then they're not going to complicate things any further, and they're going to keep the rules as they are. And to complete this story, the last few remaining games for the knockout rounds were revealed, were announced, and there are some pretty interesting ties to look forward to. So I'm going to tell you guys in the comment section below, would you want to see me cover the UCL once it restarts in August? Let me know below. We now move on to the second story today, and that's the latest surrounding Willian and Benrahma. Now, to give you guys some backstory, a few days ago or a few weeks ago, I told you that Arsenal had agreed a contract with Willian to sign the player once the season ended. That wasn't fake news, that is still legit, that is the real deal. The new developments was that Frank Lampard is working with the club to try and persuade them to sign Willian and give him that 3-year deal he wants. Now, reports have come out suggesting that the club aren't going to give in to those demands, they aren't going to give Willian a 3-year deal, and in that sense, I do understand the business sense behind things. Ideally, I prefer if both parties could find an agreement. However, if that isn't the case, that's life, that's football, that's how it goes. Now, from the club's perspective, I can understand their caution behind giving Willian that 3-year deal. I'd imagine that they're looking at Arsenal as their example to follow. Arsenal are currently paying Ozil 350k a week to sit on the bench, to not be involved, to do absolutely nothing. They can't sell the player because no club is going to offer anywhere near close to those wages, and he's eating up the wage bill, offering absolutely nothing. The club may think, okay, if we give Willian his 3-year deal, we know that we have great young players that will most likely get more minutes, get more game time, and have a bigger influence over time in the team. So if you're giving Willian a crazy contract that you feel isn't going to be justified in a few years, I understand the caution behind giving in and giving him that 3-year contract. At this point in time, if Willian does not agree a new contract, the club are going to turn their attentions to Benrahma. Now, there's a ton of business sense behind this deal, and also football sense. In football sense, it's obvious that Benrahma is a special player. For me, it's the way how he plays the game. His skills aren't just for aesthetics only, there's substance behind everything he does. I love players that express themselves, that play with that flair, that source, that can provide something unique to a team, and I think Benrahma's that style of player. Most times he's doing a skill, that is opening a shot for himself to take, that's creating space for himself, that's keeping that momentum of the team move going. They aren't done for no reason. He's not going to go on the halfway line and start doing like 100 step overs for no reason. His skills have substance, and I can understand why Lampard likes that unique factor and why he thinks that could provide something to our team for next season. But to move on to the business sense behind this deal, Benrahma is in London. He plays for Brentford, and due to the current COVID climate, any foreign players have to be quarantined for 14 days. So that means that Benrahma doesn't have to worry whatsoever. And in that sense, he understands that if he did sign, he isn't signing to be a first team player. Most likely he's going to fill a backup or squad rotation role, which is naturally going to be reflected in his contract. And that means that Benrahma's overall deal his player cost per year is not going to cost us as high. Now, we do know that football is a cruel game, so let's be hypothetical for a second. Let's say we did sign Benrahma, but maybe he did not live up to expectations or potential and we want to sell him on. Due to the fact that he's a squad player and his contract isn't high, because of course being a squad player naturally is reflected in your contract, it does mean that Benrahma does provide us some good resale value and the potential to make profit too. So in that sense, overall, there isn't too much risk behind the signing. I'd be upset if Willian did leave, but if Willian leaves on his own accord and we sign Benrahma, I think that more than makes up for things. So in the comment section below, give me your thoughts and opinions. Do you prefer if we kept Willian, or do you prefer if we let him move on and sign Benrahma instead? Let me know below. We now move on to the next story, and this is a pretty big one. Today's reports have stated that we are actively trying to sign the new Kylian Mbappe for Monaco. His name is Malamine Efekele. He is a young 15-year-old who's soon to turn 16 on the 19th of July, and he plays as a striker or a winger or a wide forward. Basically a modern day attacking player, and due to his style and how he plays, he's drawn comparisons with Kylian Mbappe. Now this interest is pretty funny because it takes us back to when we were first interested in the original Mbappe, and that was back in 2011. I think Mbappe was 11 years old at that time, and he had a trial with this club where he met Didier Drogba and he got to play in a friendly against Charlton, where we absolutely destroyed them 7-0. And it seemed like he was destined to sign until some scouts at the club decided that they weren't too impressed by Kylian's work rate and defensive abilities. They asked if he could come back for another trial, which Mbappe's mum rightfully said, if you're asking me, there's no way that's going to happen. He's going to be worth 50 million in the future. Now, the funny thing is that Mbappe's mum was wrong. He was worth 3 times that amount, and to this day it's one of the biggest L's we've taken when it comes to signing young players. It looks like we're not trying to make that same mistake anymore. Reports coming out from France are stating that we are holding talks with his parents to persuade him to sign for us. Now, due to Brexit, it seems like the club are being forced in a situation to wrap this deal up very quickly. We know that from next year, from January, it's going to be much harder for Premier League clubs to sign young players from abroad, and Monaco aren't opposed to selling their young talents. With reports stating that we are currently in advanced talks with his family, and which I know I'm saying again, I'm just trying to further emphasize the possibility that we could sign the new Kylian Mbappe. Now, it's pretty funny how many similarities efekele and Mbappe have. They both came from the same youth team, AS Bondy, all those years back. They both signed for Monaco, having the same career trajectory too. Hell, efekele's even been trained under Mbappe's dad, so there's so many similarities not only in the style of football they play, but also how their career is shaping up to be. Now, anyone being called the new Mbappe must have some serious talent behind them, and I think that there is a possibility that we could sign him. Now, personally, I'm hearing nothing about this news. Of course, I'm just taking this straight from reports, but this is really positive. As I've been stressing for a very long time, with the new regime we have under Frank Lampard, with how the environment is a lot more healthier for young players, with how the academy know that they have a real possibility to represent the team as long as they work hard and train hard, I feel like this opens up all the doors for all the young talents across Europe to really take us and consider us even more, because now they know that if they were to sign for us from a young age, there is a pathway into the first team, there is a manager that believes in using young players and won't be scared to use them. And when you consider other facts like the style of football we play, the location of the team in London, the money we can offer too, we become an even more tantalizing club to sign for. So it's great news to hear, and I'm hoping that we can wrap this deal up, because it seems like our under 16 team is shaping up to be one of the best ones since the 14-15 team that had Christensen, Ruben, Boga, etc, etc. And to move on, we move on to Tammy Abraham and the latest surrounding his contract talks. Now, thank you Matt Law, he came out and released a big exclusive earlier today speaking about and breaking down all the misconceptions surrounding Tammy and these contract talks. Now, he reported that Tammy actually has 3 years on his contract, and the reason for that is because due to the goals he scored, he's actually met targets in his current contract, meaning that once he does, he gets an automatic 1-year extension placed on his deal. This news instantly tells us everything we need to know, and it's one of the main reasons why both parties are in no rush to agree to a new contract. Now, another piece of interesting news is that it's not Tammy Abraham proposing a new contract, it's not his team proposing a new contract, it's the club offering Tammy a better contract and a better deal. Now you might be thinking, Nini, why are the club offering Tammy that? Should it not be the other way around? I'm going to explain it to you, and I'm going to use amortization to explain the business benefits behind why the club are giving these guys long-term deals. Now we know the benefits of having first team players, squad players that have come from our academy. There's barely any player cost behind them. And that's because the only player cost is their wages we're paying per year. So when you give players like this long-term deals, it means that you can balance the books much better, giving you more flexibility to sign bigger players and other players to fill the team up. Now with players like your Tammys, your Masons and players that have come from Cobham, we know that they have basically no player cost. The player cost you're paying per year is only on their wages, and by giving them a longer deal, a longer contract with higher wages, it means that you can balance them on the books over the years. When you do it like this, you guys, you're amortizing the fees, and by doing that, it means that when it comes to signing other players on the market, maybe players that cost maybe 100 million, 80 million, etc., you can now balance their costs better on the books, meaning that you comply with financial fair play. I think it's too old school to always assume that to get a new contract, it only means that you have to play well, when these days clubs are finding more unique ways to balance the books and still spend how they normally did. Now to continue on with Matt Law's report, he said that Tammy Abraham has not asked to be on the same wage parity as Hudson-Odoi. To keep things real, when it comes to him signing a new contract, most likely he could earn more money than Hudson-Odoi. So, this whole narrative was completely fabricated by social media accounts and by tabloid press as well. And for me, I get quite frustrated by this because Tammy Abraham is a guy that has a very strong profession. Tammy Abraham is a guy who's a very dedicated professional. There's no negative stories about his personal life at all. He's a quiet guy, he's a normal guy, he has a hungry mentality to be a success at this team, and he's a guy that puts his body on the front. And he's a player that puts his body on the front line. Throughout this season, he's had constant unnecessary criticism. From the racist abuse he faced at the start of the season to constant doubts about his goal scoring ability whenever he goes a few games without a goal. And it's this constant lack of faith and trust in him. And what just really annoys me the most, and I'm just going to say it, is the constant stereotypes used against him and many other young black players. Now, stereotyping and being racist are two different things. And the reason why I use the word stereotype is because I just see stereotypes used from everyone. Not just particularly from one race, from everyone. Lazy stereotypes that have been conditioned and ingrained for fans to just automatically think and assume the worst things from young black players. How much nonsense has been said about Tammy being scared about the threat of Werner? How much nonsense has been said about Tammy's form being affected by the signing of Werner? Where's this coming from? Where's the evidence or proof? It's just examples of lazy stereotypes used against these players. I'm sorry. He's scored 16 goals for us this season. 16 and 40 games, playing his first season at this level for our club. He's got 22 goal contributions in 40 games. We've signed strikers who's cost us an absolute fortune. We haven't done half the things Tammy's done. And I'm sorry, get behind him, support him. It's about time he gets some respect. He's supported and he's looked after, because I feel the fan base, especially the online fan base, has not been too accommodating of Tammy, and it's quite frustrating in my opinion. But anyway, you guys, that's going to be me for today. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll see you guys later with some more videos.